This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer. Listen to my show every Monday from 11 to 12 on KWWJ 1360 AM, KYOK 1140 AM, KCOH at 1230 KCOH.com, Sankeet Radio at 95.1 FM, 1460 AM, and Latino Sports, KEYH 850 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then. All right, Harris County, this is Gilbert Garcia with another tip from me, talk, inspiration, and prayer. And boy, we have a very, well, thank you, studio audience. We have a very interesting show today, and I want to welcome a good friend of mine. And, you know, people use that term loosely, especially in the world of politics, but I really mean it when I say Tom Ramsey, who's now our county commissioner, is really a prince. And everybody knows I'm a Democrat and all those things, but the key is I'm a Houstonian and I'm a resident of Harris County first and foremost, and Tom Ramsey is really one of the premier elected officials in the whole region. Tom Ramsey, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gilbert. It's good to be with friends.
Well, thank you. Well, you know, I don't know if you know how much you meant to me because when there was a what's the right word? Young Gilbert Garcia, new Metro chairman, and you were the mayor of one of the villages, of course, and we'll talk about that in a moment. You really had a real impact on me because you were so thoughtful, and you really were. You know, we may not agree on everything, but at the end of the day, you were very thoughtful to me as a person, and you wanted me to be successful because you knew if I was successful, that meant the region and transit was successful. And you helped me navigate some of the things, and I really mean that. You were a real statesman, and I appreciate that.
Well, you when you came on board with Metro, it was pretty complicated, and you had quite the challenge to bring all the municipalities together. There's 15, I think, cities that support Metro besides Houston. Mm-hmm. And few people know there's 33 cities in Harris County not named Houston. So it's a pretty big deal in terms of mobility and transit. And you were in the middle of all that. You were coming up with some different ideas, different solutions. We had a perspective in terms of the small cities. But you always listen to us, and we appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you. So let me ask you this. Let's go back. When you were young, Tom Ramsey, like just 3 years ago,
Yeah, right.
You know, when you were growing up, did you ever think you'd be in public service? Did you ever think you were going to be a mayor? And when you were mayor, did you ever think, you know, one day I'm going to be one of the biggest counties in the country?
I think you grow up in a small town in East Texas, and you do the things you do in a small community. You never think about where this will lead or that will lead. I wanted to do engineering. That's why I went to A&M. I majored in civil. I wanted to do public infrastructure. I knew that early on. You don't have a clue a lot of times where things can head, but I never considered myself anything but prepared. Because when you can, some people say you make it in a big city, you can make it anywhere.
Yep.
Well, if you can make it in Crockett, Texas, you can make it anywhere.
Well, let me ask you, Crockett, I mean, it has to be, everybody knows everybody, right? I mean, that is one of those cities?
Yeah, and when my father was pastor in the area, he was kind of referred to as the pastor of Crockett, and you know everybody, and it's a real sense of commitment, community. Things matter. How you behave matters. You say, well, you live in a fishbowl. Well, you know, we all should consider people are watching, and it matters what you say. It matters how you say it.
Amen to that. And going back, what was it like growing up the son of a preacher? I mean, did he ever say, you know, I didn't see, you know, Mrs. Wilson at church? I mean, there has to have been a lot of funny things.
Well, you know, the preacher's kids always have a different level of expectation. And I said, as I tell people, you know, the preacher's kid would be a lot better if they didn't hang out with the deacon's kids. So the problem, the root cause, was the deacon's kids. And I know that. I believe that.
You know, I got to go back because a relative of my wife's is a deacon, and I'm going to have to use that line. It's the deacon's kids.
It is.
That's a good one. Well, who inspired you? Well, first of all, you went to A&M. And by the way, my wife is an Aggie. My son was an Aggie. My brother-in-law is an Aggie. And what a great place it is. I mean, look, it's a first-class education and first-class experience. But, who inspired you to throw your name in the hat and to run for mayor?
Well, I worked for over 50 cities and 20 counties in Texas
Is that right?
before I ever thought about running for office. So when you do engineering work for that many cities and that many counties, you go to that many city council meetings, you go to that many commissioner court meetings, you observe and you pay attention. And at some point I thought, well, I do understand public service. I do understand what it means to serve on a city council. I know what it means to be on commissioner's court. I've seen the good ones. I've seen not so good ones. I think I know what to do. I think I'll run for that because I have so much experience actually being a part of it from an engineering standpoint.
Very interesting. And so what finally made you take the plunge?
Somebody called and said, Ramsey, we can't find anybody to run for council in Spring Valley. I said, this is work. I don't need another job. I've already got a job. No, you need to do it. Okay. Since nobody else will do it, I'll do it. And I ran for city council. Well, the mayor resigned the night I was sworn in to city council.
Come on.
And the city council thought, where's the new guy? We'll appoint him mayor. So I was elected to city council, was appointed to mayor, and ran for 4 more terms and elected there.
Well, you know what? That's a real tribute to you that people believed in you. But what's interesting, they probably say, no, let's get the new guy.
Exactly.
Get the new guy because he doesn't know any better.
Exactly right.
He doesn't know it's a whole bunch of work. And there's, the upside is an attaboy, and the downside is, my garbage is not picked up, or this street intersection needs a stoplight or something. They don't know the downside of all the work. Well, let's go back for a second. We have a couple of callers that are already online here. So there's a Dominic on there. Make sure you always just put it up there, and I'll see it. There's a Dominic. Dominic, are you there?
Yes, Gil. Can you hear me, Gil?
I can hear you. Got me, Gilbert Garcia, with a tip for me with
Gilbert,
Tom Ramsey.
Yeah, yes, Gil and Commissioner. This is Dominic Mazak. And you've heard me speak at County Commissioner Court meetings, so I think you know who I am. One correction, there are 23 multi-cities in the Metropolitan Transit Authority. Okay, but my big concern is our county judge. I am not against a woman. I'm not against a Hispanic woman leaving Harris County. But here's the deal. The real representative in terms of local government between Harris County and Austin for a lot of things comes through not Mayor Whitmire. It is the county judge by state statutes. And my thing is, we get into a situation with, say, a hurricane, or heaven forbid, our version of 9/11. The lead person for Harris County is the county judge. And that county judge, I don't care, like I said, I don't care, man, woman, I don't care what their ethnicity is. I don't care what their plumbing is. I don't care what they do with their plumbing. But if they're sharp-minded and know what to do, groovy. And I just think, I'm going to say this. I think in all charity, the county judge needs to resign. I'm not going to hold anything against her because of it, for the good of the people. And here's the other thing. Let's take, for instance, we do have a disaster. And the county judge tells Mark Sloan, who is the county lead at Transtar, to do something as completely opposite of what a emergency manager could do. This could turn out to be a disaster. We already got the state in the Houston Independent School District. I think we're big boys and girls enough in Harris County to run our own affairs. And with that, Gil, with that, Commissioner, I'm sending it back to you.
Dominic, thank you for your call. First of all, I like that you use the word groovy. Because you don't hear that word so much anymore, so I appreciate that.
He did that for me.
Yeah, or me too. But I appreciate that. The other thing is, what's interesting about what you said, Dominic, is, I've been, I don't know, politically aware, not a long time, but a reasonable amount of time. And what's always fascinating to me, Commissioner, if I say anything that's out of school, I apologize. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. But, it was always majority of the court was Republicans, and everybody knows I'm a Democrat. But at the end of the day, it functioned very well. And Judge Emmett was a real gentleman to me.
He was.
Yeah. Oh, good. I didn't know you were still on. He was a real gentleman. And when I was Metro Chair, he was always receptive. I could always see him. He was always thoughtful. He was always prepared. He was always knowledgeable. It just seems like the county isn't somehow, and please excuse me, doesn't function like it used to somehow.
Well, that is perception, not reality.
Okay.
So I will tell you, last year we went through 3 disasters. In early May, we had the May Day storms. 30 inches of rain fell in Huntsville. Where's that water going to go?
Here.
Precinct 3, Harris County. So we had the May Day storm. We had the derecho a few weeks later. Then we ended with Beryl. The effort during a disaster is at the precinct level. We picked up over 1 million cubic yards of debris just in Precinct 3.
Come on.
We could fill up NRG. The judge doesn't own a dump truck. The judge doesn't have a lawnmower. The people that do the work are at the commissioner precinct level, and we function very well. Thank you very much.
You know what? That is such a great point. Let's educate not only me, but everyone, the difference between all the commissioners that are in charge of the precincts, and just review again how many, et cetera, and then what is the role of the county judge? Just educate everybody.
There's 254 counties in Texas. They all have 4 commissioners and a county judge. Every county is divvied up by 4, and it's based on populations. Sometimes, like in Harris County, they get real political and gerrymandering. I loved it when we had the conversation last year on gerrymandering. I could write a book on it. I'm a product of it and how my precinct. They didn't draw my precinct because they liked me. They drew that precinct for very political reasons. But as it turns out, I've got over 49% of unincorporated Harris County in my precinct. More people live in unincorporated Harris County than live in the city of Houston.
That's very important for people to know that. But
So when you talk about a disaster, and I will tell you, nearly every other day, I was in conversation with Mayor Whitmire in the city and coordinating disaster response and those kinds of issues. We have people that work for the county they're at Transtar, and we have people that work with them. But the real nuts and bolts of responding to a disaster, whether it's picking up debris, getting people out of their homes when their neighborhoods are flooded, that's all at the precinct level. There's nothing happening at the judge level. So the Judge Emmett, did a great job of the communicator. He would get on and he would be the encourager, the person. But the people that got the work done, the people that are out there making sure that those 1.2 million people that live in my precinct, that the homes and the residences and the businesses are in the response to those, that's all at the precinct level.
Amen. That is so great. Thank you for enlightening me. But what's interesting is, again, I'm just an observer, and you're right. It's perception. Is somehow, and maybe it's just the judge. These meetings seem to be long. There's lots of yin and yang, and how do we get through all that? I'm using an unfair word maybe, but all the drama.
Well, one person comes to court with drama. It's not Commissioner Ellis doesn't, Commissioner Garcia doesn't, Commissioner Briones, and I don't. We function very well. We put the issues up there. Sometimes I get outvoted. Sometimes I make motions. I never get a second. But I'm an Aggie from East Texas. I'm used to not getting a second.
I understand.
But we work very well together. When the judge decided to leave the meeting early last week, we still had 3 or 4 more hours to work, and we got our business done while she was at a concert. So that's just not right.
It's not right.
It isn't right.
I mean, I'll say something that's maybe not appropriate, but that's just outrageous.
It is.
I mean, that's the people's work, and that's what she's elected to do.
And she posted on social media that she struggled with working with her colleagues, and she was glad to go to a concert. So while we were at court taking care of this year's budget, working with each other, agreeing, disagreeing, making decisions, voting, making issues, providing solutions, she was at a concert.
That's unbelievable. Well, let me ask you this. So does she, and this is more of a I don't know, a procedural question. When the judge is out, who runs the court? Who's running the actual meeting?
The general rule is the most senior of the commissioners, which that would be Commissioner Ellis. He does a fine job of running commissioners court. When she's not there, boy, we go through items. They're clear. There's clarity. There's direction. So I will give much praise to the way Rodney Ellis runs a meeting when she's not in the room. In fact, we kind of all look. We wish she would go to more concerts.
Well, it all goes back to experience. Rodney Ellis is experienced.
Well, there's
right?
there's experience, but
go ahead,
Gilbert, it's discernment. I mean, you and I have worked together, and there's a certain discernment that you have when you call and you ask me questions. You may not understand the topic, but you're going to ask enough questions until you know. Well, that's discernment. That is slowing that. She has no discernment. She really doesn't know when to ask a question and really doesn't want to ask a question.
And procedurally, when she's not there or anyone's not there, do they have a proxy that votes for them?
No, you can't.
You can't.
No, you got to be there to vote.
Okay, well, that makes perfect sense. Hold on, Mr. Ramsey. Commissioner Ramsey, we have another caller. We have several on. Dominic, I'm sure we cut you off, so thank you for calling in. Richard, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. Hi, Gilbert.
Richard, you got me, Gilbert Garcia, the tip from me, and you got Commissioner Tom Ramsey. Talk to us.
Hello, Commissioner. Thank you for all you do for our county. You're amazing. We really appreciate you. I'm calling about Hope and Healing for El Salvador. We're 6 days away from our celebrity chefs benefit to raise the money for the biblical products for the children of El Salvador. And I just wanted to say hi and thank you for letting us be on your show the last few weeks.
Well, we appreciate that. Tell me again, what day is it, the time, and give us that all again if you don't mind, Richard.
Yeah, it's at Brennan's of Houston.
Yes.
We have the upstairs. It's Sunday, the 21st at 6 p.m. And we do have a very significant pastor coming from El Salvador. He's actually Buccelli's pastor. He's coming. We're flying him in to talk to us about how he works with the children in the orphanages in San Salvador and all the rest of El Salvador. And he'll be speaking, and the people from Biblica, the people that we're partnering with, will also be there, and we'll have some information and some history about the publishing and creating of these biblical products for the children.
Well, wonderful. You know, Bukele, just to be clear, he's the president for all those that are listening. I've been to El Salvador. It's beautiful. I've been to the beach. I've been by the mountains. Yeah. It's beautiful. And the people are beautiful.
Yeah, we made 2 trips. Yeah, and we were so touched by the children, that are kind of left behind because, there's a lot of people went to jail, and a lot of people, 2 particular were murdered by the gangs, their parents, and that was quite touching. So,
we appreciate you. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and we wish you nothing but big success there.
Yeah, and Gilbert, thank you, and thank you too for doing this morning show with our judge.
Well, you got it, my friend. Thank you. Let's go to the next caller. If we can hold that up there, producer. I thought there was another name there. Alex, is there an Alex on the line? Alex.
She's there.
Alex, can you hear me?
No, she's there.
Let's go to the next caller.
Alex?
If you could just hold that
Hello, Alex?
for me. Hold on there, Houston. We're coming to those callers there. There's some backed up there. If Alex is not there, let's get Ernie.
Okay.
Go ahead there, producer. Put it through. As I tell you what, as we're working on that, please excuse me there, Commissioner Ramsey. Going back on something, we have a clip of the meeting the other day, and again, you can take anything out of context. But it's very interesting to me to have seen it. and it just looked, for outside looking in, like chaos. I mean, and if I'm saying anything out of school, please let me know. But it just seemed like chaos, and there were a bunch of kids there, and I don't know if they were a prop or something, but they were like called on cue, and it was very interesting. It was contentious, but I think who was the one that was most confused was the poor lawyer who was trying to keep it all together. I think he was the one that was trying to figure out, did someone make a motion, did someone not? So we're gonna put that clip on. If you hold your thoughts, I know you have much to say, but we do have those callers that are trying to get through. So show me that. Is there a Alex and or a Ernie? Let's just put him through. Let's go. Let's go. All right, Houston. I'm so sorry we're having difficulties today, but just push them through when you got them there, team. But we're going to play that clip in just a few minutes. And do you remember what I'm referring to?
Sure.
It seems like yesterday.
I lived it.
You lived the pain.
Yeah.
You know, for someone that was just observing, I got to say, all of you all, meaning you, Briones and Garcia, really kept your cools. And in those sorts of situations, I'm sure it's difficult. It's difficult because you're trying to get a word in and you're being talked over and it's chaos. And I didn't say it. Yes, I made a motion. No, I didn't. Well, then I just take it back. I mean, it's almost like student council.
Really is.
I mean, I take it back. I know. Do we have a caller or no? Let's go. Who do we got? Alex, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Alex, you got me, Gilbert Garcia, with Commissioner Tom Ramsey. What do you got for us today?
I have a question for Commissioner Ramsey. I just wanted to know, any advice he has for young people that are trying to get more into the political atmosphere and things they can do in their community.
Wonderful.
Great call, Alex. I'm glad you just listening to programs like this is a start. I think that I didn't wake up, as I told Gilbert earlier, with the idea that I was going to run for office. It just kind of happened. But I think the problem with a lot of folks, they don't get involved at all. They don't know who their city council member is. They don't know who their county commissioner is. They don't know who their county judge. These are all real people, and you could go meet with them. You could go talk to them. You should go talk to your school board. I've got 15 school districts in my precinct.
Wow.
I know every school board superintendent. I know every one of those every one of them are wonderfully different in a lot of different ways. So know these people. There's 220 municipal utility districts in my precinct.
Wow.
Every municipal utility district has an elected president and board. So there's so many opportunities to serve. Get in the middle of something. Get involved in it. Be out there, because it's kind of hard to sit at home and watch the news and understand anything. If that's where you're getting your information, you're poorly informed, and you really don't get a sense of what the options are and what the solutions. So I would say, get involved. Be active. I was a member of probably 10 or 15 different business associations. American Society of Civil Engineers, Association of Consulting Engineers. Every one of these were some of my practice. But you go to those, you meet people. I was Scout Pack chairman. I was I've coached my kids in every sport that some of them, most of which I didn't understand at all. So it's get involved. But every time, there's not a single thing that I didn't volunteer for that I don't know someone today in terms of calling them, helping me, giving me a sense of information and encouragement going forward. So get involved. It would be my word to you.
That's one of the best summaries I've heard. Alex, what say you there? I think that's a great summary of just get involved. And just listening to it, there's so many different ways to get involved. It all comes down to how much your time commitment is and what's your bandwidth, and whether it's in the community, whether it's in one of the subdivision sort of leadership areas. But what say you? Got any response there, Alex?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Ramsey. And I definitely look forward to working with all of y'all and seeing what we can do with the young people in our communities.
Let's do it. Thank you, Alex, for coming in. We got another caller there. Is there an Ernie there? Is there an Ernie?
Hello?
Ernie, you got me, Gilbert Garcia, with a tip from me with Commissioner Tom Ramsey. We're talking about the county.
Thank you, Gilbert, for bringing such important information to our community. And thank you, Mr. Ramsey. I think the topic I'd like to discuss is education. Gilbert has been such a strong leader in education. He just recently received the Champions for Change Award in tandem with the city of Houston. Mr. Ramsey, what are we doing about supporting education? I know that I just recently saw a comment from you regarding there's no money. What are we doing?
Are you familiar with the Harris County Education Department?
Yes.
Okay, that's one part of it. So we've invested large sums of money in working with our school districts. I have 15 school districts in my precinct. I go to them often, meet with the leaders in those school districts. You know, the primary reason people are moving to Precinct 3, which is the most unincorporated in Harris County, they moved there because of the schools. They moved there because they're looking for a quality education for their children. And so we encourage that. We say, fine, you should look for that perfect place, that perfect fit, whether it's in Tomball or in Spring or in Crosby or in Channelview or in Goose Creek. Pick one. We've got some great ones to pick from. So I meet on a regular basis with our school superintendents. I ask them, what can we do? You see, I am the public works director for those 15 school districts that exist in Precinct 3. They need their roads maintained. They need traffic signals improved. They need safety around the schools improved. That is what we do. That is what the county does. I am not. It's not in our. Statutory responsibility to go in there and start running the schools. I really try to stay in my lane, as a good traffic engineer would. I'm going to stay in my lane. And what I do is try to encourage the school districts in what we are supposed to do. There's so many people get involved in things. They have no business involved with that. Did you know the tax rate for the school district is 2.5 times what the tax rate is for the county?
Is that right?
So when there's an education issue, I'm going to say, why isn't the school district dealing with that issue? In fact, that was my issue with Judge Hidalgo when she drugged those poor children into court. She wanted the county to do something that the school districts really ought to be doing.
Well, on that note, it seems to me when you think about what is the mission statement of the county, and I don't know if there is one or not, but it seems to me it's public health, public infrastructure, and I guess public safety, right? And that's really what we're supposed to be doing.
People talk to me every day. Can you be sure we're safe? Can we be sure we're safe in the neighborhood? Did you know the crime rate is 1/5 in unincorporated Harris County than it is in the city of Houston?
20% of what
No.
What it is, 1/5.
Let me put it another way.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had real trouble, Gilbert, and you're a numbers guy. And so I want to know the crime rate in the city of Houston. I want to know the crime rate in unincorporated Harris County. And I began to ask questions. Well, nobody could give me any numbers. You know where I went?
Where?
I went to the coroner, because you're not going to argue with the coroner.
That's right.
And he told me, he said, how many people died in Harris County last year? 552, Gilbert. How many of those lived in unincorporated Harris County? 95.
Wow.
Let me put that another way. You're 5 times more likely to get shot and murdered in the city of Houston than you are in unincorporated Harris County. People should know that information.
I think that's very revealing, very revealing. But it seems to me public health, public infrastructure, and public safety.
Exactly.
And I may have
Right.
the 1, 2, and 3 backwards, but at the end of the day, that's really the role of the county, right?
That's right.
That's what it seems to me. Ernie, thank you for calling in. We got another caller that we're going to take real quick, but thank you, Ernie, for that question. We have another caller. Is there a Bobby on?
Yes, Bobby is right here.
Bobby,
Stand
you
by.
got me, Gilbert Garcia, with a tip from me with Commissioner Tom Ramsey. What do you got for us?
Commissioner Tom and Gilbert. Hey man, when you trying to navigate a pond, the political pond called the Good Old Boys Pond, the Good Old Boys Pond, and you just a gatekeeper. It's not. Gilbert is not. Not a good feeling when you are the ugly duckling. That's all I want to say.
Well,
And you know, and when we know the bottom line, say there's the beginning, there's the middle, and there's the end. But we know what the end was for the ugly duckling. I'll get back with you, son.
thank you very much, Bobby. Well, I hope that I'm not that ugly duckling. I hope
He
that,
didn't say me, so that was good.
then I guess it's me. But Bobby, thank you for calling in, and feel free to call in. Again, everybody, feel free to call in and talk to Tom Ramsey, of course, our commissioner. And that number again is 832-570-8075. So let's go to something here. Making the transition from mayor at Spring Valley, of course, which is a smaller city, into now 1.2 million people, right, in your in your precinct,
Right.
for commissioners, a member of commissioners court. I mean, what was that like? Did you feel like, holy cow, this is like, I'm drinking from a hot, fire hose? Or did you feel like, you know what, I'm prepared, I got it, I've already known a lot of these players, and, what's it been like?
I try to wake up every day and say, hey, I got an idea.
Amen.
And I draw again from a small town where we saw problems. And I don't know that the problems are any different in Harris County than they are in a small town in East Texas. I think it's perspective. My first year as mayor, I developed a 5-year plan. They never had a 5-year plan.
No kidding.
They said there's one thing you don't want to ever do, and that's have a bond issue, because they failed 5 times in a row. We had our bond issue in 2 years, and it passed by 80%.
Wow.
Because we listened to people. They fixed every road in Spring Valley. We've replaced every water line in Spring Valley. We don't have problems in Spring Valley because we said, you know what? We know what to do. Let's go do it. So many times, and Mayor Whitmire, and that's why I love working with Mayor Whitmire. He'll call me and I'll call him and say, I got an idea. All right, well, let's go do it. We try not to make it complicated. I got one story.
Please, we want to hear it. We want to hear it.
There was a guy named Juan. He wrote a letter to Mayor Whitmire. He said, Dear Mayor, I drive down Campbell Road every day in my big truck, and your road is in bad shape. Your road is tearing up my truck. Dear Mayor, fix my road, please. So he called me and said, hey, Ramsey, I know this is mostly in the city of Houston, but it's close to yours. Would you want to do the road? And I said, we'll go halvies, but here's the deal. I gave him the Gilbert answer.
Yeah, go.
We're going to go halvies.
Yep.
And this is what we're going to do. I'm going to build it because, see, I can build roads.
Mm-hmm. I
have crews. I don't have to. I can actually do things. So I said I'll do it, and it costs about $2 million. I've done a few roads in my life.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it, it'll cost 20. So let's just agree right here. You're not going to do it. I'm going to do it. You're going to pay me half, $1 million, and we'll do it. We start construction in 2 weeks.
Wow, what a great story! That's a great story.
And Juan,
I mean, that's the way it's. What I really loved about what you said, and I didn't mean to cut you off, was the whole thing of picking up the phone, leaders talking across the aisle, as they say, across governments, as they say. But at the end of the day, we're all just serving the people, and y'all coming together, looking at a problem and solving it.
and now I look forward to getting Juan out there when we cut the ribbon on the road.
That is such a great story. Amen to that. Well, let's hold on because there's a lot more stuff I want to cover with you before we leave, Mr. Ramsey. But going back, we have a couple of calls. Is there a Miss Hernandez on? Miss Hernandez, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Gilbert.
You got me, Gilbert Garcia, with Mr. Tom Ramsey, our county commissioner. What do you got?
So my name is Raquel Hernandez Bushorn. Hi, Gilbert. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Speak to me.
So, thank you so much for all that you do in the community. Thank you so much for having this show. I think it's fantastic whenever you have an open dialogue about all of the things that are going on in the county and the city. It's so important for the people to be in the know. And I just wanted to commend both you as well as Commissioner Ramsey for all of the work that he's doing on the court. I think right now in the political climate that we all see that we're in, it's so important for our electeds and our leaders to be able to work with everyone, to really listen to the people. And he's so right. If you see that there is an issue in your community or anywhere that, wherever you live, definitely find out who your local elected is, reach out to them, speak your grievance, come to the court, or reach out to them via email. And I do have to commend Commissioner Ramsey because he's done a fantastic job with making it happen at the court. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. Being a candidate running for office is really hard. I know that sometimes you get a lot of pushback from both sides and some people get really cruel, but I think it's so important to do what is the will of the people, and that's just speaking to the truth. And I think that Commissioner Ramsey has done a fantastic job with speaking to the facts, speaking to the truth of what is happening in the county, what's happening in our community. And I just really wanted to just call in just to say thank you both so much for having this conversation today. And it really does mean a lot to the people listening and to our communities.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Hernandez, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. So thank you for calling in and for saying that and to share it. And again, we want all views. And by the way, I second that motion about Tom Ramsey there. So I will second that motion. Before we go to our next caller, she touched on something. Mr. Hernandez, I don't know if you're still there, but you touched on something. And I'm going to take it to a different level, but I'm going to go in the same vein, which is we had a terrible assassination recently. And it was with a young man, Mr. Charlie Kirk, who, politically we're on opposite sides. But at the end of the day, I could acknowledge that he was brilliant. He was active. He cared. He was galvanizing the community. He was going, spurring and encouraging debate. And there was that horrible clip showing the assassination right there for all to see. And for everybody knows I'm a Democrat, et cetera, all my Democrat friends out there, please remember, we're all, part of humanity here, first and foremost, and we're all Americans. And let's not celebrate or let's not do those things. It's terrible what happened. And it's terrible for those kids and for, all to see. No one deserves that. Tom Ramsey, what do you say to something like that? It's just very, very disheartening.
Well, just the assassination. I know where I was when President Kennedy was assassinated. I was in the 6th grade, and I can remember the conversations like it was yesterday. And I remember even then thinking, he's got a little boy and a little girl, and you really think more about them and not the politics of it all, not the dark evil that is involved with such things. And immediately the same with Charlie. I knew him. I knew of him. I know he has children, and that's what I thought about first. I also thought that he's 31.
31.
And I'm sitting there thinking, I can remember my father when he was 31, and he was a young evangelist in Crockett, Texas. We moved to Crockett when he was 31 years old. And I remember what a young evangelist in Crockett, Texas could do for a community by just being a good messenger of the Lord. And that is my perspective of Charlie. That's what I take away from Charlie. He was an evangelist in the form of a Billy Graham, in the form of a Ronald Reagan, and being able to talk about things that matter and being able to listen to people that maybe didn't agree with him. So I think you take that from him. I think you take the ability to listen, to have a conversation. Let's have a conversation, and not demonize everybody whenever the politics. I don't consider being engaged in communication as some kind of political game. It's really important that you get the facts straight, that you're clear with your positions, and then listen as people have conversations. So I take that from Charlie as someone only 31, but my glory, what he was able to do in his 10 short years was pretty amazing.
Is that amazing? It was amazing. The way he galvanized young people, and young people need to be galvanized. I mean, they need it. They're really crying for information and leadership, and that's what he was filling that gap. Again, we may not have agreed on issues, but at the end of the day, no one should be celebrating what happened. No one. And it pains me to see people in some of the things I've seen. So I think enough there. I think Bernie Sanders said some very interesting words. I think Governor Cox said some very interesting words about trying to heal and bring it together. And so let's hope that we all are a little more thoughtful going forward in our everyday lives, because it really starts with, as the old Michael Jackson song was, it starts with the man in the mirror and asking if he'll change his ways. It really starts there. Let's go to our next caller. We had another caller. Was it Jesse? Jesse,
Yes,
are you
sir.
there? Jesse, you got me, Gilbert
Yes, sir.
Garcia, and Commissioner Tom Ramsey. What do you got for us?
Listen, Commissioner, first of all, thank you for your service. And the next question I want to ask you is, who are you endorsing for county judge? And if you're not endorsing anybody yet, who do you like for county judge?
Well, I like the fact that we've got candidates from both parties running. Obviously, I'm a Republican, so I'll pay a little bit closer attention to what's happening on the Republican side of the fence. I know when I ran, Gilbert, I had two fine Republican folks running against me, and we had some good, healthy, encouraging debate, and we went over a 3-month period, and we were able to make a selection. Fortunately, I was able to make that one, but it made me a better candidate. So I will tell you, I'm keeping my powder dry, as we say in East Texas. I am not committing at this point. I don't think a Republican primary is a bad thing. I think primaries are a good thing, and it allows everybody to engage. Sometimes people too quickly say, I'm going to jump on this bandwagon or that bandwagon. I just, sometimes you just keep your powder dry, and let's watch them. I want to see people discuss, because we did over 20 plus debates.
Wow.
And you get in forums and people ask you questions, and you see what your answer is, and you appear before the editorial board of the Houston Chronicle, and you've done that, Gilbert.
I have done all of that.
And your opponent's in the room.
Yep.
And
I've done all that and then some. It's interesting because everyone knows that I ran for mayor, and Sheila Jackson Lee, who I admire, and she's no longer with us, she said to me one time, very interesting words, she goes, Gilbert, remember something. You may be my opponent, but you are not my enemy. And I thought that was a very classy thing to say. But continuing, Jess, what do you say to all of that? I think everyone knows I supported Denise Parker, again, because I've known her a long time. I've known her back when she appointed me to the pension board, when she was running for controller. And so it's really a personal thing for me, because I just know her that well. And you combine it with, I just think that it's just time for a leadership change on the court, the county judge. And we're going to show you a clip again. I did it a week or two ago, but we're going to show that again. But no, I appreciate your point of view there, Commissioner Ramsey, and I do understand that when you run, it makes you much better as a candidate, because it sharpens your skill to know the issues. That's really the key, because you prepare and you want to, and people will have different issues. There'll be a group that wants to talk about bike lanes, a group that wants to talk about infrastructure, a group that wants to talk about small businesses, the different communities, whether it's the African American, Hispanic, the Asian community. Everyone's got their own issues, people that care about stray animals. And so it keeps you sharp to know all about what's the pulse of the people. Jess, anything else you got there for Commissioner Ramsey?
No, I just trying to find out who his favorite horse in the race is. That's all, Gilbert.
Well, thank you very much for asking that question. We're going to move on. We have another caller there, and then I want to show this clip because maybe you can give me a couple of pointers there, Tom Ramsey. We got Isidro Garza on there. Isidro, are you there?
Yes, Mayor. How you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. You got me, Gilbert Garcia, the tip from me, with Commissioner Tom Ramsey of precinct number 3. What do you got for us?
Two great human beings. Wow. Commissioner Ramsey is one of the best. And so, yes, I am honored to be in a show with both of you. Of course, the mayor, you know how I feel about the community knows. That's why you're my mayor.
Well, thank you, Isidro. Go ahead.
Commissioner, you stated a few minutes ago that you're staying close to the issue of leadership in the commission. But then you went and you started recognizing that you are a Republican. I don't see you as that. I see you as a person with conscience that does not lead based on DRR. And that is what is so sorely needed. Look at what's going on at the national level. And the issue with the gentleman Kirk. And sometimes we just, the three things that the Gilbert, the mayor, talks about, he says talk, inspiration, and prayer. The first one, talk, we don't do enough talking about the elephant that's in the room. You are the perfect person in which, if indeed there's two sides to the argument, the D and the R, you would be the person that I would want to be in that room with someone like Gilbert. Maybe a D, but both of you are two good human beings, and there's no issue that we cannot directly address. How can we have our flag at half-staff we don't encourage? As a matter of fact, we denounce the death, his death, but we don't celebrate and honor his life. He was against us as human beings in many of the statements that he made. And the lowering of the staff, it wasn't lowered for many of the others who have lost their life in the political agenda. So that is where I think we need to not just browse over it, but actually address the profound divisiveness that we can affect through effective dialogue. And again, my kudos to you, Commissioner. You're my friend, and you're doing great things for us over here. You're my commissioner, and you've done so much in our schools, for our students, etc. And I applaud you for that.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you for that. I just think that it's just how tragic it was. It's how violent it was. It's how public it was. I think that's what really separates this from sort of other things. It's just it was right there, broad daylight, in front of, I don't know, a couple thousand people and the kids and the wife, and it was just so public. And with social media today, everyone has seen it, and thank goodness they're starting to pull the real graphic one down. And I sort of think that's really what separates this from sort of other violent things. This was just terribly, terribly violent.
I don't wake up. I don't have my identity as a political party. Long ago, if you want to call me something, call me a Christian. And that's where I find my identity. If you want to know what I do, I've been an engineer for 45 years. I did get elected, and I serve all 1.2 million people, and I take their phone calls. So I really try to live it out. You and I are just going to disagree on Charlie. I probably knew him better than you do. So how we honor people, it's important for that too. The country's hurting greatly right now, primarily those on the campuses and the thousands and thousands and thousands of campuses that very few people take time to go talk to the folks on the campuses. So I think it's all those things. Really the only one on court anymore, Commissioner's Court, that gets all focused on political party is Hidalgo. Commissioner Ellis and I will have very rational conversations, and Commissioner Briones and Commissioner Garcia will work our way through the issues. We never use names. We don't bring things up. We don't bring party up. We just bring up the issues. And I even got Commissioner Ellis to vote with me on something not too long ago, and I voted with him on a couple of things. So to me, that's how governance should be when people redraw your precinct in a very very political manner. I've been commissioner in over half the county thus far because of gerrymandering my district. And so what I ran for in 2020 was a completely different precinct than what I ran for in 2024. So when you look at the neighborhoods that are in my precinct, I have underserved, as I tell my colleagues on court, I've got lots of underserved neighborhoods in Precinct 3. I know people like to think the only underserved neighborhoods are in Precincts 1, 2, and 4, but we got some, and I could talk another hour on what we are doing and what we can do in a lot of those neighborhoods. So I think, except for the judge, we get to court and we try to make, I think, the best decision based on, and I do represent 1.2 million people in Harris County. I try to represent what they think.
What's interesting is the judge is now calling out Briones and Garcia as like they're Republicans, or is she calling it? Did she call them a name now? The GOP 3 or something like that.
She did, and it's number one, it's tacky, and number two, it's interesting because I can actually remember. I remember when she voted for redistricting, and she looked at Commissioner Cagle and said, "Well, I'm going to vote for this because we need to replace you with a Democrat." So she was playing politics. And so, ironically, and when Commissioner Briones won that seat, there was like 2 or 3 meetings ago, she said, "You know, I regret the day that I voted to remove Jack Cagle and put you on."
No kidding.
Now, is that just a tacky thing? It's horrible.
It's horrible. It's just horrible.
Because here's the number one job of a county commissioner. The number one job of a county judge. Your job, you wake up every day, your focus is, I have to get 3 votes.
Yep.
How can I get 3 votes? I don't guess she can add or subtract because she has yet to figure out how to get 3 votes.
And it's so funny because there's another clip, I don't have this one, but where she says, and look at, she was talking to Commissioner Garcia, and he won't even look at me. I mean, it's like, and he won't even look at me. Look, and I just don't like how it's just, it got real personal.
Yeah, it's
personal.
She does.
I don't know if we have time. I'm going to try to get some of this clip in. Let's do some of this clip if we can. This is from Commissioner's Court a couple of weeks ago, and it was when they were, I guess y'all were looking at this a program for young kids. First of all, the county
down the road in Travis County, they spent 2 years working with subject matter experts.
We spent 4 years. I don't hear any volume there.
Excuse me.
Okay, there
Judge,
we go.
please be respectful. At least
Education is truth-telling. Don't give the kids this example of making things up. This has been going on for 4 years.
Excuse me.
4 years.
Our children are here, so you should please try to be respectful and focus on the work.
By saying the truth.
Is this half baked proposals.
4
It did
years.
not have robust stakeholder engagement. It does not have a detailed program, does not have a detailed budget.
4 years
And it
designed
does
with your
not have
office.
the program evaluation. The projects we're doing, which again was a one-time ARPA investment through 2026, and everything has been crystal clear on that. The evaluation done by a third party will be available next year in 2026. Is that correct, Director?
80-page evaluation.
That's correct.
Doctor,
There is an annual-
Is this an evaluation, yes or no?
Point of order.
Judge,
Not the final
Commissioner Briones
evaluation.
has the
Right,
floor.
it's the first 2 years.
Judge,
We have to wait 20 years to know if these kids
Point of
graduate
order.
college.
Judge,
Point of order.
Commissioner Garcia, state your point of order.
Point of order. Commissioner Briones has the floor.
Judge,
Be a good example for the children.
yes, Commissioner Briones.
It's terrible.
Is this how we're going to conduct court from now on? Because if this is how we're going to do it, we will do this again and we'll reference this case. If this is how we're going to do court.
Okay.
This is totally against what we should be doing according to the court. And I can't believe you're sitting there.
What are those signs?
If
say
I may
behind
continue,
it?
please, without any interruptions. Again, this is about the process, not the policy. Childhood education, early childhood education, and education at all levels is of paramount importance. But this proposal came 2 weeks ago.
False.
We have been working with the Gulf Coast Workforce Board. This region gets 328 million, and most of it is invested in Harris County. The Gulf Coast Workforce Board is on first for early childhood education.
We're working with them.
Excuse me. We need to maximize. So these are federal dollars sent to the state, sent to the workforce board.
Not
They
enough
need to
money.
be optimized and scaled, and they are on first to set up a new program without a detailed.
We worked with
plan,
them to design
budget.
this.
Excuse me, please.
Falsehoods are not appropriate in front of children.
You should tell yourself that. In sum, education is non-negotiable,
let's stop
and
there
there are
because
federal,
there's-
state resources that.
Let's stop there, team. Because, we could play that whole thing. Frankly, it gets worse. It gets worse before it gets better. You know what? My hat is tipped off to you to work through that, because that's difficult. I've sat on the Metro board, and now we never had those sorts of interactions like that. But I could imagine the difficulty to stay focused and to stay on it and to plow through it and to not leave the table. You can never leave the table because you're doing the people's work. So I applaud you, Commissioner Ramsey, because that's difficult.
Well, it is tragic. She did not come prepared. She did not brief any of our offices. There's 4 of them. She didn't brief any of the offices on what she was bringing to court. So she brings this truly half-baked proposal to Commissioner's Court to try to get 3 votes. And it was almost like she was given 2, because I think Commissioner Ellis likes the program.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was kind of a yes, but she was working real hard to make it not so. So she really needed one of the 3
vote.
of us, right? And recognizing, then you could play the party politics and whatever else you want to do. So she should have had this should have been a layup, but
That's
she
right.
didn't. She should have started in January, not a week before Commissioner's Court meeting.
Well, you know this, Commissioner? You're not going to believe this. 1 hour's up.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that?
I can.
It's kind of like Carol Burnett. I'm so glad we had this time
Yeah.
together. It's time to say so long. I want to say once again, I want to thank Compass 97, AT&T 99, Phonoscope, Sudden Link, HMSTV.org, and of course, don't forget Taqueria Laredo, because they have the best carne guisada in town. Don't forget that. Tom Ramsey, you had the last minute or so. What do you want to say to Houston, Harris County, and of course to your precinct?
Thank you for the opportunity to serve. I appreciate, again, what folks like Gilbert does out there. Believe it or not, I do believe in getting input from folks, and you're one of the people that I take the phone call, because if you're calling, we need to listen. So it's important. I think county government is truly on the right track. I know it doesn't look that way. We have one person on Commissioners Court that doesn't understand anything about how to function. But you really have 4 commissioners on there right now that wake up every day trying to do the people's business. Then we'll continue to do that.
Amen. All right, Houston, Harris County, this is Gilbert Garcia saying, we'll see you next time. All right, Houston, Harris County, this is Gilbert Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert, Talk, Inspiration, and Prayer. We're going to now be on television. We will air every Saturday on Comcast 17, AT&T Channel 99, Phonoscope Channel 96, Suddenlink 99, and also hmstv.org. Every new episode every Saturday at 7 p.m. And follow me on social media. See you then.